Imagine sprinting across a harsh, rocky desert landscape, your heart pounding, completely exhausted. You are running for your life. In the legal landscape of ancient Israel, causing a death triggered the Avenger of Blood. This was a relative of the deceased who had the legal right to track the killer down and exact a life for a life. To address this, Joshua chapter 20 establishes a specific legal protection, the cities of refuge. To understand how this functioned, we have to look at the procedural steps required for a fugitive to move from a death sentence to safety. This system provides a practical look at how ancient law balanced a grieving family's legal rights with the protection of someone who had no intent to kill. Step 1 is checking eligibility. These cities were not general sanctuaries for every criminal. They were specialized legal tools. If a death was premeditated, carried out with anger or prior intent, the gates remained closed. The attacker could not claim the city's protection. The refuge was strictly reserved for those involved in a tragic, unintentional accident, such as an axe head flying off the handle while working in the forest. Joshua 20 verses 2 and 3 specify that these cities were for anyone who killed a person accidentally and without premeditation. By setting this boundary, the law ensured that mercy was directed toward the innocent, without ignoring the gravity of the life that was lost. Step 2 required the refugee to reach the city before they were caught. Timing and geography were everything. The land was divided by the Jordan River, creating a significant physical barrier for anyone trying to travel across the country in a hurry. To account for this, 3 cities were designated on the western side of the Jordan: Kedesh, Shechem, and Hebron. These were significant urban centers. Hebron, seen here, was a fortified stone city that provided a clear, recognizable destination for someone in flight. To the north, Shechem sat in a valley between 2 mountain ridges, making it another geographically prominent point of safety. 3 more cities were established on the eastern side of the river: Bezer, Ramoth, and Golan. Because of this specific spacing, no person in Israel was ever more than a day's run from the nearest city. This geographical layout shows a system designed for accessibility. Regardless of where the accident occurred, a path to protection was always within reach. Step 3 begins at the city limits. A refugee could not simply slip inside and hide. They followed the gate protocol. Upon arrival, the refugee was required to halt at the entrance and present their case to the city elders. This created a legal boundary. While the elders reviewed the facts, the Avenger of Blood was prohibited from crossing the gate threshold to reach the accused. Joshua 20 verse 4 outlines this requirement. The elders acted as the first check, ensuring the city's rules were followed before granting entry. Finding safety required the fugitive to stop running, submit to the city's legal authority, and tell their story transparently. Admission to the city led to step 4. This was still a temporary status, not a final resolution. The fugitive was eventually required to stand trial before the local assembly to verify their innocence in a more formal setting. Protection also came with a significant restriction. The refugee had to leave their home and property behind, living exclusively within the city walls. The mechanism for full release is in Joshua 20 verse 6. The refugee remained in the city until the death of the current high priest. Legally, the high priest's death acted as a ransom. It resolved the blood debt, permitting the refugee to return home without fear of retaliation. The system addressed the debt through 2 layers: the refugee's restricted movement and the finality of the priest's death. Only then was the legal slate wiped clean for a full return home. This journey took an accused person from a state of total vulnerability to a position of legal protection and eventually full restoration. These 4 steps show a system where the physical safety of the individual and the requirements of the law were both carefully maintained. By combining a rigorous trial process with a clear path to pardon, the cities of refuge provided a functional model for handling complex cases of life and death. Reading the full account in Joshua 20 reveals the logic behind this blueprint, a system designed to be a reliable refuge